Hello, it's Dominique, welcoming you to this game overview of Kingdomino. This award winner is another great kid-friendly game to introduce to family members that might be stuck playing the same old classics. Kingdomino is good for 2 to 4 players and has rarely taken us more than 15 minutes to complete a game. The object of the game is to be the player whose 5x5 kingdom has the most points. Players earn points by adding dominoes to their kingdom, matching and connecting them to form territories. Each domino has 2 terrain squares, and a territory is a group of matching terrain squares connected horizontally or vertically. The more territories, the bigger the territories, and the more crowns per territories, the more points. To set up, each player gets a castle tile, a castle, and the corresponding colored meeple. For the opening round of the game, you need to draw 4 tiles and lay them in the column face down. The tiles should be drawn randomly, but when you line them up, you need to put them in numerical order, smallest to largest. Determine who goes first, however you might normally do so, or the game suggests for one player to cup each of the player meeples in their hand and randomly draw one to see what the opening order is. Once the order is set, flip the tiles over, and the player who goes first will place their meeple beside the tile that they want. This continues in order until everyone has chosen their starting tile. Then, lay out a second column of tiles, again in order from smallest to largest, then flip them over. Now gameplay begins. Each round, players take 2 actions. First, they add their previously chosen tile to their kingdom, and second, they choose the next tile from the new column. Player order is determined by the position of the meeples on the newly chosen tiles, so whoever has the top spot goes first, and then the second goes second, and so on. This means that each round might start on a different player. When placing tiles, there are a few rules. First, the kingdom cannot be more than 5 squares long or 5 squares wide. Dominoes cannot be moved once they're placed, and connecting dominoes must share at least one type of terrain in common. A player might be forced to choose a domino they cannot place, following the aforementioned rules, so they lose out and have to discard it. On the other hand, if the player has to pick up a tile they don't want, but they can technically play it, they're not allowed to discard. The game ends when there are no more tiles to draw from, and depending on the number of players you have, the instructions will let you know how many tiles you need to start with. Once that's done, players tally their points. For every territory, you count the number of squares and multiply that by the number of crowns in that territory. So here we can see there's 1 crown and 3 squares. So it's 1 times 3 equals 3 points. And here there are 2 crowns and 4 squares. So 2 times 4 is 8. And if there are no crowns in a territory, it's worth no points. But if a territory is only 1 square, but there's crowns, you still times it the same way, so it's by the number of crowns times 1. It's really no surprise that this game won Game of the Year in 2017. It's a simple premise, easy to teach, fun to play again and again. And while those qualities do make it a great family-friendly game, don't think it's just a game for kids. The strategy is real, and coming up with a perfect 5x5 square kingdom is a lot harder than it looks. As much as we love this game, the box expert was less than enthused about the box, which is kind of a shame. But the compact size does fit nicely on our shelves. If you're interested in picking up Kingdomino for family game night, or any other game for that matter, check out thecomichunter.net or head over to the store to browse their wonderful variety of games for all. Happy gaming!